As they continued to walk, Hayley had a question on her mind after seeing the two of them deal with the rats. "I've always wondered, which of you two are stronger?" Hayley asked. The two up front suddenly froze, and Dell looked at Hayley like she had no sense of personal questions. "Hey, you can't just ask something like that," Dell whispered. Of course he was interested. Everyone was. These types of questions come up all the time. Faye and Leo were both of the same ranks, 2 of the 8 sergeants at the school. Talk always happened between the other teachers and soldiers about who was the strongest out of them all. This also happened regularly with the 3 generals. "It's okay," Faye said. "I can easily answer for you. It's Leo. I don't know if you two know this, but we had to practically beg him to join our ranks after the first war. Back then he was only a private, but he had made so many accomplishments. It was unbelievable. He had one condition when joining the army. I would like to become a teacher." Leo didn't say anything after that. In fact, he never spoke much in the first place, but Dell was still wondering how it was possible. Leo's ability was handy, sure, and it might be a high-level ability, but that was only because it required a high amount of MC to use, not because it was powerful. While Faye had the ability of super speed, if the two of them fought, there was no way he could see her losing. In the end, Dell thought she must have just said that to be kind to her senior. Faye was still quite young, after all, only in her late 20s. Finally, the group had arrived just outside the training center. "We'll make sure the portal is safe first, and then after we will go out looking for the kids," Faye said. "The entrance looks clear," said Leo. They walked onward and eventually saw the dead Rataclaws just outside of the entrance. Not only that, but the entrance to the place was completely busted. It had been bent and mismangled, but was still covering the door. Faye went to the access machine and tried the code. The sound went off, indicating that it was unlocked, but the doors wouldn't move. They were too damaged. "What happened here?" Hayley asked. "Do you think it was the kids?" "I think you mean kid," Dell added. "Only one of them has an ability, remember?" "Ah, Vorden is the original, correct. His ability is to copy that of others. Although we don't really know how it works, it could be possible. If he copied a strong ability, then I could see him being able to kill these rats," said Faye. "Well, if we find Vorden, we can go home, right?" Dell asked. "Are you suggesting we leave and not bother looking for the other one?" Leo asked. "The mission stated to only find Vorden. Anyone else is considered a bonus. Would you risk your lives for one student?" "When I joined that war, what do you think I was doing?" Leo asked. "I was risking my life for the sake of everyone. For the sake of the human race's future, and you know what? That is these children." "Enough, you two," Faye snapped. "Technically, Dell is correct, but I see you are passionate about this. We will scout the nearby area using your ability. If we find nothing, then we leave. Fair?" Leo didn't say much and started to walk up to the door. He drew out his katana blade and readied himself. "Isn't that door made out of glathrium? It's one of the hardest materials we know of. It's why this training center remained unharmed in the first place," Dell said, chuckling at the idiotic attempt Leo was about to make. "I'm assuming you wanted to know why Leo is stronger than I am?" Faye asked. Leo slashed the door with one swing. No sound was made, and it seemed like the door wasn't even touched. Then, a few seconds later, a vertical slash was seen in the door, and the top half fell backwards onto the floor. "That's why," said Faye. After entering through the glathrium door, the group then went to lift the fallen part of the door up and place it back up. It was heavy, but with Hayley's help, the door felt extremely light, and they managed to set it perfectly like a jigsaw puzzle. While it might not keep the beast out, at least, it would deter them from entering. Dell, watching the whole thing, hated to think just how high a level of beast equipment Hayley was wearing to be able to lift the door so easily. They continued to walk in the hallway, which was covered in darkness, although for Leo, leading the way, it made no difference. But while walking, Dell couldn't get out of his head how easily Leo was able to break the door. It wasn't like Dell was a student. He was a professor, too. He had participated in the war back then as well, and never saw anything like what he saw today. Could it be a demon-level weapon? He thought. But he quickly came to the conclusion that it was impossible. At the moment, there were only 2 demon-level beast weapons in existence. One of them belonged to the army, while the other belonged to the group known as Pure. However, it was clear to Dell that what Leo was using was at least a top-level beast-tier weapon. They had entered the reception area, where several doorways were leading to different sections of the training center. At the front, there was the reception desk with 2 hallways leading to the arena. Then there was the actual reception room, which could also lead you to the canteen and the living quarters. "Wait, stop," Hayley said to Leo and Faye up front. She bent down and studied the ground. "Can you see what this is?" "It's blood and leading that way," she said as she pointed to the living quarters. "How can you tell which direction it's coming from the stadium as well?" Dell asked. "Well, the blood tail, you can see that it's heading in the direction, and there's a lot of it, almost as if someone was dragged this way." "Come on, let's hurry. It could be one of the students," Faye said. They made sure not to rush, but quickly headed in the direction of the blood following the trail. If there was a beast inside, they needed to make sure they wouldn't startle it. Leo also no longer took the lead, and instead it was Faye. Usually, Leo's ability would allow him to detect auras and abilities through walls and such, but it didn't work through Glathrium, and the whole place was made of it. Although he could still direct himself, he couldn't tell if there was danger up ahead until actually seeing it. They followed the trail until finally it led them to the hallway, with a broken door outside and a ripped-apart chair. Faye peeked her head into the room with the broken door and immediately turned away. "Hayley, I think you better take a look at this," Faye said, turning her head away. Hayley took over and went inside the room, while Dell also took a look and turned his head away. "Did you see the body?" Dell said. "Its body was ripped in half, guts spilling everywhere." Leo, who was standing next to him, turned his head and looked him in the eye. "No, I didn't see anything. I haven't done so in a while now." Hayley continued to examine the body. She went around the man's neck. Underneath his beast armor, she pulled out a colored dog tag. While holding the dog tag, she continued to inspect the body, and that's when she spotted something. "Again, 2 bite marks on the neck, just like the other students," Hayley thought. "Is there really a beast inside the academy somewhere, the same thing that killed this man? Or is it something else?" Hayley then stood up from the body and walked forward. "Do you want the good news or bad news?" she said. "Just tell us everything," Faye replied. "Well, the good news is it's not one of the students." Hayley then pulled out the tag, which was attached to a chain, and dangled it in front of the others. "The bad news is he was from one of the big 4 families." Each person's face dropped as soon as they heard the news. "Which one?" Faye asked. "The tag says Truedream." Faye immediately slammed her fist against the wall as she heard those words. Why them out of all the families? The big 4 families were the ones who had the power to rival the military. They were originals, with immense power who chose not to share their abilities. However, the Truedream family was the most unique out of the 4. They had the closest connection with the military, enough even to have a seat at the council table. This was all because of the head of the family, who had the ability to steal others' abilities. If anyone ever tried to rebel against the army, then they would get a visit from the Truedream leader, and they could never use their ability again. The only problem was, Truedream could only take away their abilities but not use them. So he needed a strong ally, and that's why he got close to the military. Then, when he felt safe and protected, he started to gather his own men, the abilities he had taken. He would gift to those he trusted, and they were truly grateful to him. But there was always this fear in the back of his mind he could be betrayed by his own. With no powers for himself, he chose to stay by the military side. This fear kept people in line. This fear was what made people complacent with the system the military had today. Although many didn't agree with the cruel ways and the carrot-and-stick approach the current army had, they had no choice. "We can leave him here for now, but it's best before we leave we bring his body and take it to the Truedream family. It's a pain, but they should be thankful we brought back one of their own," Faye said. After leaving the body be, they decided to follow the trail of blood back outside and into the stadium, and that's when they spotted the 2 kids lying down on the floor. "They're here! What luck!" Dell said as he ran forward. Hayley, Faye, and Dell immediately went forward, while Leo was the only one who stayed back. For in the center of the arena, he could see a color of aura he had never seen before, one which was purple.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Blockbuster YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.